9. Patricia Krensil. Patricia Krensil first made news headlines in 2012 after she was charged with child endangerment for allegedly taking her 5-year-old daughter into a tanning bed with her. The suburban New Jersey mum spent a week in jail before regaining her freedom. By the time she was released, internet users around the world had made up their mind about what kind of person she was, even though she maintained her innocence. It was clear, based on photos of Krensil that surfaced after her arrest, that she likes to tan, perhaps a little too much. In most of the images, she sported an unnatural orange complexion and leathery skin. People naturally assumed that she was obsessed, and it was easy for many to believe that she was passing on her tanorexia to her impressionable young daughter. Krensil defended her enjoyment of tanning, saying that it just feels good. But she was banned from numerous local salons who wanted no involvement in her high-profile case, and in addition to being hated online, she was frequently harassed by members of her community while out in public. The judgment against her persisted, even after a grand jury decided not to indict her and authorities let her keep custody of her kids. In 2022, just months after losing her husband to COVID-19 and other health issues, the vilified mother of 5 told Insider that she was a completely different person than she was 10 years earlier. Krensil said that she no longer tanned to an extreme and that she never meant to take it as far as she did in the past. She also expressed relief that she never got skin cancer from the dangerous habit. 8. Controversial Canadian teacher. The ordinarily uneventful town of Oakville, Ontario, found itself at the center of a shocking controversy in 2022, when some concerned parents accused a local high school teacher of taking their gender transformation too far. The industrial arts teacher was assigned male at birth, but decided in 2021 to start openly identifying as a woman, something that many people and the law agreed that she should be allowed to do. But photos captured by students led some to feel that the educator was crossing a line. The images revealed that she was wearing extremely massive fake breasts that hung down to their waist. In one video, the teacher could be seen maneuvering around her ample bosom to operate a circular saw during a class demonstration. Certain features of her chest, which are ordinarily considered inappropriate for children to see, were visible through her clothing. Locals expressed their concern to the school board, which responded by saying that it supported the teacher's right to express her gender as she wishes. Additionally, the board said that it was working to create a safety plan to protect her and ensure her ability to continue teaching. The teacher had no previous issues with the school board and was reportedly very well liked by students. But some said that they felt uncomfortable with her unnaturally large prosthetic bust, which has led to allegations that the teacher's appearance is inappropriate in ways that have nothing to do directly with her gender identity. Employment lawyer Sunira Chowdhury told the Toronto Sun that she believes the school board can and should impose limits on her chosen form of expression. She even went as far as saying that the enlarged chest seems sexist due to its exaggerated nature, which could make young women feel mocked or embarrassed. Chowdhury further explained that a restriction on the teacher's attire would be similar to a boss telling a biological female that they have to wear a bra to work and keep certain parts of their body covered up, which falls within most employers' ability to enforce grooming standards on some level. The scandal has gone quiet since it first broke, and it's unclear whether the school board changed its stance on the matter or if it continues to unconditionally support the teacher's controversial look. 7. Henry Rodriguez. Many of us have a favorite superhero, but most people don't actually try to become their favorite superhero. There are a few exceptions, however. One of them is a 43-year-old Venezuelan father and tattoo artist named Henry Rodriguez, who's made extreme and permanent changes to his appearance in an effort to resemble the Marvel supervillain Red Skull from the Captain America comics. He started his journey in 2012 and has reached deep into his pockets to accomplish his goal. In early 2022, Rodriguez told the Daily Star that he spent tens of thousands of dollars on various procedures, including having parts of his nose and ears chopped off, splitting his tongue, having the whites of his eyes tattooed black, and having horns implanted into his head. His face is also tattooed to look like Red Skull, who first appeared in 1947 as a Nazi arch-enemy of Captain America. Rodriguez insists that he has a lot of things in common with the character, but that he doesn't share Red Skull's Nazi beliefs. And while his radical transformation may seem crazy, he was required to undergo psychological assessments before he was allowed to undergo the modifications. He said that he has no plans to stop until he's fully satisfied with his appearance. 6. Natasha Crown. A young woman from Gothenburg, Sweden named Natasha Crown went viral in 2022 when she was filmed going on a blind date on a YouTube show called Hooked on the Look, which follows people with unusual looks and personalities on their journeys to find love. By then, she was already a popular influencer, with over 2 million followers who was well known for her unnaturally oversized backside. Natasha makes a living selling custom content to people with a particular preference for extreme curves. To keep up with her desire for an ever-widening rear end, she's gotten numerous fat transfer procedures done. By 2018, she'd already undergone 3 operations and was planning her 4th. Her ultimate goal is to have the world's biggest bum. And if she's telling the truth about having a 6-foot wide bottom, she can't be too far from achieving it. In addition to getting plastic surgery, Natasha purposely overeats to maintain her unusual figure, which has led her loved ones to worry that her lifestyle will have damaging health effects. After the food makes her gain weight, she has the fat relocated to her hind side. During the dating show, Natasha revealed that she's been single for 7 years because men were intimidated by her looks, and the date she was filmed going on didn't lead to a second date. But she said she had no plans to stop getting butt-enhancing treatments, opting instead to have a body that makes her feel beautiful rather than make changes for the sake of attracting a companion. 5. Casey Kazee. In one of the most unusual robberies to make headlines in recent decades, a liquor store in Ashland, Kentucky was held up in 2007 by a man who wrapped his head with duct tape as a disguise. Employees were undeterred by the mummy-like getup and tackled the robber to the ground, where they held him until police arrived. News cameras captured footage of paramedics removing the tape from his face. The suspect, who went down in history as the duct tape bandit, was identified as Casey Kazee, and his ridiculous disguise earned him a permanent place in popular memory as one of the country's dumbest criminals. He initially proclaimed his innocence, claiming that he wasn't the duct tape-covered man who committed the crime, but he pleaded guilty to the robbery and received a 10-year sentence. Kazee was out on parole in 2014 when he committed another robbery, this time with a co-conspirator. He didn't make any news headlines for how he looked during the crime, suggesting that he decided to forego the duct tape. The court sentenced him to 12 years in prison, with a requirement to serve at least 85% of his time before becoming eligible for parole. 4. Sammy Jo Haleford. In early 2022, 27-year-old Sammy Jo Haleford came forward as the proud wearer of Britain's biggest eyebrows. The single mother of 2 from Grimsby claimed that people bullied her both online and in person for her thick, rectangular, drawn-on brows. Some even threatened to report her to social services, citing her eyebrows as evidence that she's a bad parent. But Haleford defended her appearance, telling the Daily Star that her eyebrows don't define whether or not she's a good mum. She explained that she started drawing them on with liquid eyeliner because she wanted to deviate from modern beauty norms. Haleford also stood by her token phrase, "The bigger the brow, the bigger the boy," as a nod to the type of men she was attracting with her new look. After some persuading from her friends, she joined TikTok and quickly garnered thousands of followers, including many men who told her that they think she's very beautiful and would be willing to date her. A few months after Haleford's story broke, she introduced the world to her boyfriend Bailey Pike, who rocks similarly exaggerated brows as well as a pair of drawn-on eyeglasses. In one post, she wrote about how happy she was with a man she only thought existed in fairy tales, and it's certainly true that they seem meant for each other. 3. James Coldwell. One morning in 2007, a man walked into a bank in Manchester, New Hampshire, with fake branches and leaves taped to his body. He approached the counter, demanded cash, and left moments later with an undisclosed amount of money in his possession. It was a quick robbery with no weapons involved, and nobody was injured. Officers responded to the scene with a K9 unit but failed to track down the suspect. But if he was hoping that dressing up as a tree would conceal his identity, he set himself up for disappointment. Police released surveillance footage captured during the robbery and appealed to the public for information leading to the thief's identity. Someone recognized him and called in the tip, and he was in custody by the end of the day. 49-year-old James Caldwell was charged with robbery. Although he was accused of committing a serious crime, even the police couldn't resist making a joke about his undeniably hilarious disguise, with Sergeant Ernie Goodnote saying he really went out on a limb. The outcome of the case is unclear. 2. Herbert Chavez. You might have heard of Valeria Lukyanova and Justin Jedlicka, better known as the real-life Barbie and human Ken for their obsession with looking like the Mattel dolls. But they're old news compared to Herbert Chavez, who underwent nearly 24 surgeries over an 18-year period to mimic the appearance of Superman/Clark Kent. Chavez, who hails from Calamba City in the Philippines, told the press that he fell in love with the Superman series at age 5. He was 37 years old when he first broke widespread news headlines for his strange obsession in 2015. By then, he'd already received fillers on numerous occasions and had undergone nose jobs, skin whitening procedures, liposuction, and jaw realignment. He spent thousands of dollars on his appearance, which may not sound like much, but it's a considerable amount of money in a country with an average salary of less than $13,000. Chavez wanted to take his efforts a step further and get Superman's abs of steel surgically implanted in his body. But after discovering that he was using dangerous fillers, the plastic surgeons he consulted refused to perform the procedure. The substance, known as mesolipo, is illegal in the United States and left the man's body covered in unsightly bumps and spots. Its presence in his body made surgery highly risky, forcing doctors to turn down his request for surgery on ethical grounds. After saying no to Chavez, the doctors offered him some advice on how to achieve his desired look, the old-fashioned way, by eating right and exercising. 1. Maria Jose Cristerna Mendez. If it weren't for her extreme body modifications, Maria Jose Cristerna Mendez would seem like an ordinary working mother. But she wears many hats, including as a lawyer, a tattoo artist, a businesswoman, and a self-proclaimed vampire, with 96% of her body covered in tattoos. She also has multiple piercings, large spaces in her ears, a split tongue, subdermal implants in her head, eye tattoos, dental implants that resemble fangs, and purposefully inflicted scars. Her life started out much differently. Cristerna originally comes from Guadalajara, Mexico, and had a deeply religious upbringing. She attended a Catholic school and got married at 17 in a traditional wedding. Her husband allegedly abused her and then abandoned her, leaving her to care for their 4 kids on her own. The end of their marriage marked a turning point for Cristerna, who started modifying her body as a way to express both her story and her strength. For her, the changes she made represent courage and liberation. She's made numerous TV appearances, including in the National Geographic series Taboo Latin America, and there's a statue of her in the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. The Guinness Book of World Records recognizes her as the world's most tattooed woman. In addition to being famous for her shocking appearance, Cristerna has her own clothing line and tattoo studio, where she helps others tell their stories through their physical transformations. Thanks for watching. If you had to choose between dares, would you rather shave your eyebrows off or draw a design on your forehead with permanent marker that takes 3 weeks to fully wash off? Let us know in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.